Hello everyone. Welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me. Before I get started, all the housekeeping notes, all the product I use, and all the dimensions will be listed below. If you wish to purchase any of these products, you can shop at my online store. There's a link to our Facebook group. We love to have you join that. And my email if you have any questions. And before I get going any further, happy Thanksgiving. So, today we're going to play with sparkling snowflakes. Now you're saying, this isn't in the little Christmas catalog. It's not. It is in the annual catalog, and it carried over from last year, and it's on page 79, and it comes with a punch if you want the punch. So that's what we're playing with today. And we're going to make a very simple card, but this card is embossed. And this is the card we're making. I'm going to hold this up really high so you can see all the embossing and all the sparkle on this card. And yes, I know it's purple and pinks. I know. How dare I do purple and pinks for Christmas? But who says that purple and pink can't be Christmas colors? There's no rules. So let's get started. Now, I'm not going to do this card fast. So I'm going to show you what we do need to stamp and show you the parts. Excuse me, my throat's a little raspy today. I'm using Gorgeous Grape. This is 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4, folded, and we'll give it a good press there. You're going to need 2 pieces of Highland Heather, and these are 4 by 5 1/4. Need 2 pieces of those. You're going to need 2 pieces of white that are 3 3/4 by 5. We'll be stamping those. You're going to need a scrap of Highland Heather, and you're going to need a scrap of white, and of course an envelope. So what we need to stamp first is we're going to stamp this little piece and this one first, because those are the 2 things that we are not embossing. And I like to get those done first. Move a few things out of my way, because this card can get a little messy. So we'll get to those in a minute. So my envelope, I just need a piece of scratch paper because I'm going to stamp here. And I'm going to stamp this one. Oh, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use the Highland Heather. And there is... These are backgrounds, these 3, and these are the front pieces, so you can have a background behind. I'm only using these 3 pieces right here. I'm using the smallest one on the front of the envelope. That's not very good, but it is an envelope, so we won't worry about it. And the reason it's not is I forgot to put my mat down. Not too smart. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean. Oh, I'll clean it in just a moment. And this piece here we need to our medium size in Highland Heather. And we're just going to put that right in the middle here. Actually, I'm going to flip it over and do it again. It's supposed to be stamped off. I'm not doing good this morning, am I? We want a stamped off Highland Heather. Hey, like I said, I'm always having fun here and messing up. Why not? Okay. Now, I'm using my chamois today because in between each of these stampings, we're going to have to clean the snowflakes because we are embossing them. So, I do have one more to stamp in stamped off Highland Heather, and I forgot. This one is the large stamp. Stamp it off, and this is going for the inside of the card. So I'll put that up at the top. And we'll clean that. Now we will come back to this piece and this piece in a little while. We're going to work on the front of the card first. So I've decided that my largest snowflake is going to be Gorgeous Grape. My medium size is Berry Burst, and the small one is Highland Heather. Now, I know you can't really see those off the screen too well, but I'll try to get them on here as we go. So we're gonna bring in the Highland Heather, or the Gorgeous Grape. And first, before I get started, I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Buddy and make sure I have no static, no finger marks, anything to prevent the embossing powder to stick to it properly. So we'll leave that there. And when you emboss, you're still gonna need your Versamark. And if your Versamark is clean and white, even though you're cleaning off, sometimes after time it does get dark, and it's not gonna hurt it any. And this is my Gorgeous Grape. So what we're gonna do is, the first one I just put it in the center, but I'm gonna do a different pattern because you can make this any color you want, any pattern. What you do is you make sure you ink up with Versamark first. Make sure it's good and covered. One straight down into your ink and onto your paper firmly. And then I'm going to clean this off. I've got my scrubby here because I'm going back in, make sure I got it clean. I'm going back into my Versamark and I'm going to go back into my purple and I'm going to put one more down here. Now I'm going to set this back here. I'm going to close my two inks and I'm going to grab a piece of paper and put white, or not white, clear. It looks white. Make sure you read your labels. Clear embossing powder. And I'm doing each color as I go. When you're putting ink over your Versamark, you have a limited time to get the embossing powder and everything to adhere because it dries faster than normal than you would just when you had just straight embossing powder. So close that up, and I've got a mark on my card, but I'm not going to worry about it. We'll cover it up with something else. And I'm going to turn the heat gun on. And there it's starting to go. And that is our first color down. Like I said, I got a mark there, but I'm not going to worry about it. So next we're going to use the Berry Burst. Just going to get the purple out of my way. Do have limited desk space. And my Versamark. So into the Versamark, make sure good coverage. Once into your ink. And that should take care of the purple. Wash your stamp off properly. Make sure it's all clean. Back into the Versamark. Back into your ink. And it won't hurt your ink pad. You think, oh no, it's going to ruin my ink pad. It will not. So I'm going to back into cleaning. A lot of repetition in doing this, but I think it makes a very beautiful card. Back into there. Put one about there. And I think I'll stick one more towards the top. Cleaning again. Back into the Versamark. And put that one off the edge. Just like that. Quickly close things up because you do not want to get your embossing powder into your ink. Grab these and get my powder on here. Everything good and covered. Tap it off. Get this back in the pot. And get the heat gun out. Now when you heat the next part, you want to avoid the two grape colored ones and only hit the Berry Burst. See, it's starting to turn. Make sure not to overheat. The last one. I'm giving it a good once over to make sure I've got it all done. Holding up in the light really does help because you can see it. And I've got a spot that did not get missed. There's the second. There we go. Now we move on to our next color. This is a card you, excuse me 1 minute. I have ink on my desk and a little extra embossing powder. So, and I've decorated my hand. So, all right, now we're going to use Highland Heather. So I'm going to go into the Versamark Nice. I tap twice and I shouldn't, but go straight down once. It's the best way. And we'll put this one here. Wash this off. Into the Versamark. Straight down into the Highland Heather. Wash it again. Into the Highland Heather. Let's put one off the corner here. This is the card you don't make for mass production. This is the card you make for somebody special. And we'll stick one off here. Actually, I could stick one off that side too. So let's do one more. But it doesn't really take that long if you have everything all set up. So let's close this. And back to our embossing powder. Whoa! Don't do that. You don't want embossing powder all over your floor. Tap that off. You're wondering, I kept on talking my way through stamping. When I'm doing it alone, I do talk my way through the stamping because I kept on messing up. I would suggest you talk to yourself too. You don't have to. It does help. Give this a good once over here. Make sure I've got it all done. This one I didn't move quick enough. It still got some embossing on it, but it had already started drying on me. But it's still going to be fine. So you do have a shorter window. Once you put the Versamark on, you usually have a little bit of time. Since you're using both inks, your time goes down quite a bit. So that's where we're going to leave that. That's the outside. And I would recommend having a cloth by to, unless you want to feel like sandpaper all over your hands. Now we're not done embossing quite yet. We have our verses. That's where this is going to come in. We are going to be embossing. The inside says, "Let the season sparkle," and the outside is "Let it snow." We're going to do both of these in Gorgeous Grape. And I am doing them one at a time. So we'll do the inside first. And get my Versamark. Once into here. And across to my Snowflake. I'm just going to move this clear across the desk. And get some embossing powder. That's one thing with, if you use clear powder and ink, you can emboss in any color you want. Doesn't have to just be silver. That one. And one more. And that is "Let It Snow." Like I said, I just set that off over on the other side. And right in the middle of our, I should have been using a mat, but it'll be okay. There's not much detail in that. And one more time to emboss. And "Let it snow." I'm done with that. I'm going to stick it in the garbage so I don't have extra embossing. Embossing powder lasts a long time. Done. I do. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this off one more time and set this ink over off to the side. Okay, so it's time to build our card. I'm going to get one little drink just a moment. It's early in the morning. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, not Thanksgiving morning. I did this day before. So we're going to need our insides, our "Let It Snow," and our bases, and this purple. So let's start with our sentiment first and get those done. You could fussy cut these, you could die cut them. I'm being lazy, and I grabbed a 1 3/4 inch punch and a 2-inch punch. And I grabbed these because they really do fit the snowflake really well. Trying just to even that around there. So there's that one. And then we need a Highland Heather. Oh, look, there's a snowflake on the back. No one's going to tell, right? And there's that. So that's going to get mounted here. And each of these are going to get mounted onto these. So I'm going to grab some glue. But you could use whatever adhesive you prefer to use. But you want something strong. These have been embossed, especially this one. So the paper is a little on the warp side, and you want something that's going to hold it down. You see I'm pushing on, oh, and it slid on. All right, let's see how fast I can be as it slid on me. Just a moment here. I'm grabbing a different piece of paper. Just 1 second here. And you're saying, why is she grabbing a different? I smeared glue right up to the top. I will use that on something else. I'm just not going to use it on this card. because I am making this card for someone special. So you do need to give it a little extra love. I'm going to set this over here so it doesn't get glue all over. Make sure you get it hooked down. If you have time, you could even just set it on a block and make sure it sits for a few minutes. Now I'm going to do one other thing. With picking that off, I got glue all over me. I will tell you, having a bottle of hand sanitizer next to your desk when you're crafting is great. Gets off the ink and the glue. So I do have another piece of Highland Heather here. Because I'm actually going to be making a couple more of these cards, so I already cut the pieces. So sometimes if you roll it this way a little bit helps too. This down. Give it a little extra love and holding it down. If you guys see that, I had a little disagreement with these. Be careful when you're cutting. I was fussy cutting some reindeer and it slipped. This one's not. That was a piece of glass. My cats decided to break a lamp. Very old lamp, but they broke a lamp. So be careful when you're doing with your snips because they are sharp. Okay, and then we got our base. I know if you guys are watching this on Thanksgiving, you're probably smelling your turkeys cooking and everything. Right now, I'm smelling pumpkin pie because I just put my pies in the oven before I started filming. So there's the inside of our card. And this is the outside of the card. Like I said, it's a pretty simple card. Okay, now I'm going to grab, I've got to glue this onto here. Don't want to forget that. And then I need to decide where I'm going to put this. That's the other thing. You can decide what side you want up and down on this. You can put your sentiment anywhere you want. I'm done with the glue. And you know what? I think I'm going to set my sentiment right about there. Or do I want it down here? No, I want it right here. I left a little wider space here, and I'll put it there. But before we do that, we're going to give a little extra treatment to this. I have the dark Highland Heather blend, and I have Stella. And we're going to put some spots all over this. So you just grab something hard like bone folder and this. Now watch what you're doing on this. I should have a piece of paper or something under here, but I'll use my rag to wipe it off because it does splatter everywhere. Don't wear a white top or light color top doing this, by the way. The ink should wash out, but that should be enough of that. I'm going to hold this up. You're probably not seeing much. And this is my Stella. I'm going to make sure I have some fluid. You push here and you make sure you can see right in here. Make sure I've got some fluid in here. Don't have enough fluid. Should. This is a brand new one. I just opened it. There we go. I wanted this card very sparkly. Now you could do it after you put the sentiment on, but I wanted to do it before. I'm going to hold that up, and hopefully you can see the purples and the sparkle from the Stella, along with all the shiny embossing. Okay, let me grab some dimensionals. And I decided I was going to put that. Yeah, I'm still going to put it right there. And I'm going to put, nope, I'm still going to go here. Just checking out. And then I figured we needed some ribbon. And this is the white sheer ribbon with silver trim, I think is what it's called. Where does it say? Silver and white. That's all it says. That's very nice ribbon. I'm just going to make me a little bow. You guys can't see my desktop, but I'm looking down like, just a moment. You guys probably can't see it. Maybe you can a little bit, but all I see is purple and wing of Stella. Let's clean a little of that off. I don't want too big a bow. Just a nice little bow. About that big should work. And we'll grab a glue dot here. That off to the side. No, we're not done yet. That one looks pretty good. Just off to the side there. And then I think we need some bling. And these are the purple fine shimmer gems. And I'm going to put a few on. These are the darker, I think. I'm going to put one here. And a little one here. And I'm going to put a big one right here. You could put them inside the snowflakes if you want. I did that on the first one. This one I didn't. So that's the card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a try. Join our Facebook group and give this a try and show us what color of card you made with snowflakes. So everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see you next week. I think. No, it will be next week. Bye-bye.